Sam, we have seen it.
We have.
What did you think?
I'm speechless, which is not going to be
That's
useful.
not helpful.
It's not going to be helpful for this
No.
audio-based audio-based programming, as it
No.
were. We're on a come down right now, I think.
Yeah, it's the dust has settled.
Yeah, we've had time to sleep, and now we're here.
Digest it. So, to sum it up in one word, did you like it?
I did like it.
I liked it too.
I very much enjoyed it.
Oh,
I can't decide whether it was better than any of the originals.
Now that is an interesting point, and we will get to that.
Yes.
But first, the plot. Without spoilers.
Without spoilers, I thought it was very good, but it was very A New Hope. There were lots of similarities, but it didn't really take away from the story.
No.
It was definitely its own story inside of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing as like when in episode 1, I know this, I don't want to talk about the prequels really, but in episode 1 when George Lucas is like, oh, it rhymes.
Oh, fucking hell.
Like, because like Anakin destroyed that ship or whatever by accident, that it's not exactly the same thing, but it is in a way.
Yeah.
Like, it was very A New Hope in the same way that The Phantom Menace was. Not that I want to talk about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was kind of like the first half was very different from the second half. I feel like the pacing changed really drastically halfway through the movie, where it just got really quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
It was a bit, they would say something and then 30 seconds later they were doing what they just said. Even if what they said happened to be at the other end of the fucking galaxy. And it's a bit like,
Yeah, oh, you're at the other side of the galaxy?
Yeah, it's just like, wow, that was quick. God, hyperspace has become even faster than it was before.
On the way home from... When we were in the car on the way back from seeing this film, I found myself criticising it a lot. And it wasn't necessarily... They weren't Star Wars problems. It wasn't something that made the prequels bad. It was just film problems.
Yeah. I mean, as a Star Wars film, it excels.
It was
a
insane. Star Wars film.
Like, it was so, so good. It
was the first Star Wars film we've had since 1983.
But with a film comes characters, and what did you think of them? Specifically Finn. How did you like Finn?
I really liked
our
Finn.
Resident Stormtrooper.
I thought he was done really well, like, because we haven't seen a Stormtrooper before.
It was a really interesting dynamic, wasn't it? Having a Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, because it's quite difficult actually doing this without spoilers, but...
Yeah. Well, we know he's a Stormtrooper, because they've said that.
Yeah, but the way they introduce him is very strange, because everything kind of happens really quickly with him, doesn't it? You never... see, this is hard to do without spoilers, but...
Yeah. We'll talk about spoilers in another video.
I mean... It's interesting because I like the way that they distinguish him from other stormtroopers really quickly by he gets a mark basically on his stormtrooper outfit somewhere so you know which one he is, which was really helpful. Yeah,
but I think you could also tell from the way he acts as well. But I don't want to say anything about that.
No, he's a good actor though. He did really well. I feel like sometimes this is not his fault. It's probably the writing. He was a little bit silly at times.
Yeah, but then he wasn't... I don't think that was his fault. That was
it was the writing.
The film.
Yeah, it was just... and I think both of us noticed a slight accent slip at times.
But I think that might have been us looking for it, because we're so used to hearing John Boyega...
British accent, yeah.
In his British accent,
Because I was saying to Sam on the way home, I never even noticed he had an American accent in the film until I noticed a British accent, a British accent.
Yeah,
and then I was like, "Hang on, has he had a British accent the whole way through the film?"
Yeah, I think it's because his American accent was so good that we didn't even notice that he had it. Like it was like, oh, that's John Boyega. Yeah. And then when it did slip a little bit, but that's just really nitpicky.
Yeah, that is nitpicky
because it's not really noticeable.
No, I mean Rey. We must talk about Rey.
Oh my god,
because
Rey.
there are some twists and turns in this film, and Rey
Yes.
seems to be in the middle of all of them.
Yeah, because she's definitely the main character.
Yeah,
which
she
I like,
is
because we haven't
incredible.
had a main character in the prequels. There was no main character.
No,
Really, there was no clear main character.
apart from
And-
Jar Jar.
Oh, clearly Jar Jar is the one.
Yeah,
But Rey was definitely the main character. She was the Luke Skywalker.
yeah, she
Of
was.
this
She
story.
is bad ass. Like
I've written
ah.
I've written in our notes here. Badass woman who don't need no man.
I mean, you can't really complain with that. I mean, she proves that in the film. It's hilarious. Her little,
Exactly.
her and John Boyega. I say John Boyega. Her and Finn are probably two of the funniest characters we've had in a while.
Yeah,
Just
and that's not like Jar Jar Binks.
no,
funny.
it's funny without
like
trying to be
good
funny. You just can't help but laugh because they are
yeah,
funny.
They have great chemistry.
They do. They are a
they're
great casting.
They work really well together, and it's like they meet, and it's just like it's so natural the way things are.
Yeah,
Like-
it's really clever how they did it all. I have to say.
Yeah, like they meet, and John Boyega's like you can tell he's a stormtrooper as well. Like
Yeah,
even when
he has that kind of
out-
like.
he's out of his armor and stuff, and you know, like he sort of has that way about him. Like he doesn't know any different.
Yeah, it's interesting though how they did that. It's
It's
I
really
think that's all down to really John Boyega and
yeah.
how well he acted throughout this film. And of course, Daisy Ridley was pretty much unknown when she
She
was
hasn't
cast
been
in
in
this film.
a
and
feature film. before.
She's brilliant. She really is. I mean, girl power.
I think she said the longest she's been on set for a film has been 2 weeks
Oh,
before
I mean,
Star Wars.
that's crazy
which is-
how she managed to be. I mean, obviously, I know it comes down to natural talent, but how she was that good after not having that much experience is just
Yeah, it's insane. And she blew me away.
she
honest,
did.
yeah.
But we must move on to Han Solo.
What can we really say about Han Solo? He was Harrison Ford. He wasn't Harrison Ford playing a character. He was Han Solo. And from the moment you saw him,
His
to the
introduction
moment,
is brilliant. Everything is brilliant. It's just
like from the moment he came on screen to the moment he left screen or whatever, this
to the screen
shot or whatever,
finished,
he was
whatever,
Han
yeah.
Solo. Like it's just
It's great.
it was great.
But what about the new resident baddie, Kylo Ren? I nearly said
Kylo
Minogue,
Minogue, which you written in our notes.
which I wrote in our notes. What do you think of him?
I thought he was great. He was like he was so different to Darth Vader
Yeah,
as well.
he
Like,
was. He was
as
not
similar
the
as
completed villain.
as you think he's going to be, and as he acts to start with, he is really different. Like
he is.
he has this sort of more human aspect.
He's
to him.
vulnerable, I think, is
Yeah,
He-
and
from the
he's
minute you see
very
him.
unstable.
yeah, he is really rough around the edges. You know, Adam Driver even said that in interviews. You know, he's not your typical villain. He is he you know he's bad, but you sort of always, you know, they don't make a secret of how he's not the complete character yet. He's still really trying to find his feet in the dark side, should we say?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's I don't really want to talk about what I was
but
going to say
he
without
uses some
spoilers.
dark powers, should we say, that we don't really see in any other film, do we?
Yeah,
And-
they use. I must say, going away from characters a little bit, but the use of the Force in this was new, and we haven't seen them use the
Seen
Force
how
in the
they
way
use
that
it
they did.
before, yeah.
And it was really interesting.
and we
actually.
see that in the first 5 minutes of the movie, don't we? And in the opening
Yeah.
scene, he uses some strange thing, and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, like the first time I saw that, it made me think, why didn't Darth Vader use that?
Yeah, I
Like,
know, but-
any other time.
Clearly, he didn't have that power, but
Clearly. Yeah.
he's great. I loved him. He was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Easily hateable is what you've written here.
Oh, he really is. You can't
Easily
help but
hateable.
hate him because he's just a dick. Like, yeah. We must move on because you will make your own judgment of Kylo Ren, and we already know what the judgment will be.
Yeah.
But we must move on to arguably the star of the show, and it is the little BB-8.
BB-8. Well-
I mean, I wrote here that I'm not quite sure how, when you're writing a character, you can write a character that has no dialogue. I mean, he has dialogue because he beeps and stuff, and the
But it's just
characters
beeping.
understand what he's saying, but we don't, so we never actually really know what he's saying. But
Yeah.
they somehow made him so fucking lovable
Yeah.
He's like a dog, I think. If anyone has a
that's
dog,
exactly what
he
it's
will
like. It's
remind
like
you of their dog because
It's like a pet in a film. Like, it's exactly like that.
yeah,
But he's the sort of, he has a brain as well. Like,
he is sassy. I think is the term.
yeah. Like, the banter that you get in Star Wars, like, BB-8 actually brought some of the banter. Like, not the sort of droid humour that we got from C-3PO and R2 and, like, the other films.
Yeah,
it was, like, actual banter.
Classy banter.
Yeah,
You know,
epic
it was
bant.
great. It was
banter clause.
So what did you think of the film, actually, the way it was made? Did you think it was well made, or did it have
I thought it
glaring
was...
holes?
I wanted to say this. I was thinking about this morning. The film is like... Don't go to watch this film thinking that it's going to be a Star Wars film from the 80s. Because it's not a Star Wars film from the 80s. It's a Star Wars film, but it's very much a Star Wars film from 2015, sorry. I was about to say 13.
That would have been embarrassing.
It's very much a Star Wars film from 2015. Like,
Yeah.
it's very modern, but in the same way, it's also
it feels
Star Wars.
so classic when you're watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
He's like J.J. Abrams, he just did it so, like, I don't know how he did it.
well,
but
I mean,
did it.
he had help from he co-wrote it with
Lawrence
his
Kasdan
name-
as well.
Yeah, who obviously wrote the original, so he obviously had help there. But
Yeah, Lawrence Kasdan wrote Empire and Jedi, I
and
think.
Jedi, yeah. And he
Yeah.
did a really good job, both of them.
Oh, yes.
I mean, JJ specifically, and actually the making of the film, keeping the amount of CGI as low as it could be. There is still some CGI in it, as you would expect with any film these days, but...
Yeah, and there are some bits where you sort of went, well, that's CGI, but the only reason is because the rest of the film looks so good,
and the amount
it looks
of
so
puppets,
real.
Every creature, basically, apart from Maz Kanata, because
She's a CG
obviously
character.
she is a CG character, and we already knew that because she's motion captured. But every other character, basically, you see is just a puppet.
There was a character at the start of the film that just, I think I said to you, that looks so real.
Yeah,
he
it's
looked like
ridiculous.
an actual living, like, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah,
like, I couldn't believe that they'd actually achieved what they could have. They could have made a CG, like, animal. It would have probably looked very similar, but this was actually not it might not be in a puppet, but like a guy in a suit, and it looked so real.
It was crazy.
Oh my god, it was just insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
It was just a really, really... It was a stunning film, really, in terms of how it looked as well. I mean, it was shot really nicely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. Like, that's why it's not a Star Wars film
it's
from
shot
the 80s.
in a modern way. You've got your fades. Don't worry, all of those people out there who are like, oh, they're going to have the classic Windows
I didn't even
Movie
think
Maker
about that.
fades. They had them all in there. I noticed them. They don't have them to the same extent, though, because I think in the prequels, it was literally like every 4 minutes you got like a stupid wipe.
Yeah.
There's only a
there's
few
YouTube
of them.
videos of like wipe compilations from the prequels. It's just
my
like every
God.
shot, every time the shot changes, there's a wipe. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
And also, the lens flares are kept to a minimum, which I could not fucking believe. I
Yeah.
was like, it's J.J. Abrams, and he's making another sci-fi film, and there were lens flares, don't get me wrong, but they were not as noticeable.
Oh, there were nowhere near as many as well.
No.
Like in Star Trek, like he was in an interview and he said, in Star Trek, the reason he wanted to use so many lens flares and stuff, he wanted it to look like a bright future, because Star Trek is obviously based in our galaxy with Earth and stuff, but Star Wars is very much it looks old but new, and
Yeah.
that's why he didn't use lens flares in this,
Yeah.
because he wanted it to be Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I don't know what to say now.
I mean, I think the only way you can make your own judgment of this film is if you go see it. I don't think you will be disappointed.
You'll not be disappointed.
You won't be disappointed. As long as you don't go into it thinking, oh, I want the film to be exactly like the originals, because it's not.
Exactly,
But
and
it's as
not,
close to them as it possibly could without being them.
and there's no possible way they could have pleased every Star Wars fan, because
No.
every Star Wars fan is going to want something else, and that's when I left the cinema originally, I thought that was amazing. Why didn't they do this? But now that I have perspective and I've thought about it, like, it's just that they couldn't have done it any better.
No.
Really.
I mean, we were talking last night, and I was saying that it'll comes down to how much you're willing to change your expectation as you're watching the film.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
we're all going to go in there expecting something slightly different. And the chances are we're not going to get what we expect. We might get as close to what we expect, but it depends on how much we're willing to actually adjust for the film. Because, you know, if you're going in there thinking, no, I want this specifically, I do not want anything different, you're going to walk out of it thinking, oh, that was shit. You know, but if you're willing to adjust your expectation, and it's not even a big adjustment, as long as you know,
it's really not.
You're happy to let them, you know, just play with your mind a little bit. You're gonna have a great fucking time because it's a really, really fun movie.
You just like, if you are thinking, oh, I won't see this movie because it's not gonna be like the originals, just see it, because I mean, there's no doubt that anyone's not gonna see it, really.
No, unless you are just like
the
taking
biggest
a stand, you know,
in the world,
making new films.
Yeah,
I mean, we must ask the question: is J.J. Abrams God?
I don't think he's God,
but I think he's
as
angel.
Close as.
I think he has achieved angelhood.
Angelhood.
Yeah, I think that the two directors of the next two films have some work to live up to, because.
And I think episode 8, I reckon it's going to be a dark one as well, because they've got Ryan Johnson doing it, and I don't think they would have got him if it was going to be a light-hearted
comedy.
Yeah, comedy.
But the one major criticism I had of this film, and it is not really a criticism as much as a subjective opinion, but I think the film should have been longer.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, then again, they obviously made the decision to make it that long for a reason. Maybe it didn't work if it was a bit too long. You know, if it was 20 minutes longer, maybe. I think they wanted it to be.
I think they wanted it to be the length of the other Star Wars films.
Yeah,
and it was still, I think, 10 minutes longer than other Star Wars films.
But I feel like it needed 20 more minutes just to insert some lines of dialogue in between the bits where they seem to get places and do stuff far too quickly.
Yeah.
It's only really towards the second half of the film, though, isn't it? I mean, the first half is...
Yeah, I think that it was definitely... it definitely picked up... the pace just went... Yeah. It just picked up and they just started running. Like, halfway through the film, it just started going, and you were like... What's happening?
It's not like you got left behind, but...
No, you could definitely keep up with it.
Yeah, and I think the one good thing, not the one good thing, that was terrible choice of words.
One good thing about this film.
One of the many good things about the film is the actual the simplicity of the story. Because I mean, I say it's simple. It is obviously a story with lots of twists and turns in it. But at no point was I there going, "Oh, hang on, what's this? What's that?" You know. It is easy to follow. They do explain the I will say this, the crawl at the beginning with the the classic Star Wars lines. It does sound a bit like a cop out at first, because obviously there's a 30-year gap between the originals and this film.
Yeah. And
a lot has changed, and it does feel like they just in a few paragraphs they just gloss over it all.
I think the crawl was really good, though.
It was great, because it was simple, but they do explain the stuff. Don't, because what I did is I read the crawl and I thought, is that all they're going to mention of all this stuff? You know, I thought, oh, was that it? We're just left with that.
Yeah.
But they don't. They do explain it all again.
Exactly. They explain it later on. Like, don't expect to know everything after reading the crawl. No. Because it's not going to happen.
No.
But reading the crawl, when I was reading the crawl, that was my heart was just like racing when I was reading that, and that's the most that's the most I really felt like when I was watching. Like that's when it hit me that I was watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, and it didn't stop. Like, I just to see this film. Oh my god.
Yeah. There's not a lot else we can say, really.
Yeah. So there's nothing else we can say until we can talk about spoilers.
We'll end it there. We're going to do a full review where there will be spoilers, so don't watch that. So go see it. You will not be disappointed. You will love it. Jar Jar Binks is Supreme Leader Snoke. And we leave you with that.
Misa back! I will not fight you! I know there's good in you.